This is Gordon from Chicago Doctor Who Meetup. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is kind of an off-the-cuff message. I was going to write about this for Patreon and Facebook, but I thought maybe a video would be a lot better and a lot more effective. So you have to excuse me. First, yes, you've guessed it, I'm in cosplay. I'm Pigbin Josh from Claws of Axos, Third Doctor, so go me. I'm also going to be, this is very off the cuff, so I'll be referring to my notes, spoilers, and I'll also be just sitting here with my notes and my cup of tea. Tea, Earl Grey, hot. And I wanted to just take some time and kind of address some issues that have happened. And I know right now we're living in pretty much a very bad summer stock production of the Dalek invasion of Earth. It's a lot of things have shut down. First, I want to apologize for having to cancel this Wednesday's meetup at Third Coast Comics. With the recent shutdown of bars and restaurants and the library, Chicago Public Library is closing its meeting rooms, the Chicago Doctor Who Meetup is going to be a lot of our plans for pop-up meetups in Third Coast and other larger events. We're putting those on the side for a while. Right now, I can tell you what I'm working on is to hold a variety of online meetups and get-togethers and even screenings. And right now, I'm working with some of my other friends to identify kind of the best way to do it. What I don't want to do is to have people download special software or have to pay or sign up for something. I want to be able to reach people and let them be where they are. The other idea I was planning to do, and this was before the current COVID-19 coronavirus crisis, was I was going to hold an online version of the C2E2 panel that was rejected. And the premise was going to be the values and morality of Doctor Who. I have not talked to any of our former panelists about doing this, and this is all in the air right now. And I'm kind of looking to, the reason I'm doing all this, and I don't want to make false promises, is that, well, right now, current times have a lot of people hurting, especially now that we're forced to stay home. And before any of you complain about, oh, it's not that bad, I'm preferring to err on the side of caution. And people come to the meetup because they want that sense of connection. It's not just about watching Doctor Who. They're looking for a place to belong. And people are hurting right now. And it's hard because with the way the show is right now and with recent events on the show, it's very easy to fall into cynicism and negativity. It's very easy to get into that mode of, we don't like the show because of X. And it's easy to become cynical. And cynicism's an easy pose. You don't have to justify it. You don't have to listen to other arguments. You can just be cynical. And I think when you start heading into that space of cynicism and negativity, you forget that any kind of fandom, Star Trek, Doctor Who, Joss Whedon, any kind of fandom, it's best experienced when it's shared. Any of us can watch Doctor Who on our own, but it's that bringing people together and being able to talk and communicate about it is important. We want that sense of community. We want that sense of sharing. And it's also hard, too, because when we started watching Doctor Who, some of us discovered it as this oddball show on PBS. Some of us, it was through friends. Some of it may have been flipping through Sci-Fi Channel. Some of it may have even been our parents who watched the show. We come to feel that we felt such strong feelings for it and a strong affinity for it that we forget that we don't own Doctor Who. Not from an intellectual property sense, but especially not from a sense of we get to do with it what we want. It's our feelings become strong, and I'm just as guilty of this, is that we have such an urge to prove our devotion that we want to be the fan who comes in and defends the canon, or we have to be the first one to say something when somebody has a question, that we forget that we move so fast that we forget that instead of bringing people together, we're driving them off. Take that to one extreme, it's gatekeeping. You're not a fan unless you X, Y, and Z. At the other end, it's just kind of minor. It's someone being annoying, someone being very much just not very pleasant. And either way, it's bad. And I know a lot of people are concerned with the direction the show's going and whether it's going to be canceled. And the way I see it is this. I enjoyed Doctor Who at the time, whatever form. And the nice thing is, if I don't like it, I can move on. But I want to get back to the sense of community and negativity, because to quote the first Doctor in An Earthly Child and Clara in Listen, fear does not make companions of us all. In fact, fear does the opposite. It divides us. It destroys us. It tears apart those bonds and it doesn't allow us to connect to people. And what connects us to people are qualities that the show provides. And I can talk about this myself because I'm an only child. I grew up feeling very lonely and isolated. And although one parent was very much, hey, men have feelings, be okay with yourself. The other was, and I'm going to be a little gendered here, but men don't feel emotions. Being smart's not good enough. You're not smart enough. And when I discovered Doctor Who as a teenager, what this told me, what I found in the show was a sense of, the show's all about compassion and empathy and courage. But most importantly, it's about hope. It's about having a positive vision in the future. It's about having a sense of wonder that there can be as much danger and excitement and adventure just down the street as there is on alien planets. And one of the reasons that I'm so grateful for Who fandom is it's not only allowed me to develop some long-lasting friendships, but it's also helped me develop a real sense of community. And I think most of that was through learning these lessons, but then actually applying them. I think it's kind of hard too, because I think for a lot of people, especially in some of my interactions with some particularly difficult members, people think that this is the meetup is somehow a delivery system for Doctor Who, and that this is somehow my job, and it's not. This is less about providing a limited resource, because Doctor Who is everywhere. You've got videos, you've got streaming, you've got Big Finish. It's not about that. It's about bringing people who love the same thing together and watching the miracles and the joy that happens. And right now, a lot of us are being asked to socially distance ourselves from each other, to take care of ourselves, to stay home, not out of a sense of because other people are bad, but because for our own health. We're dealing with something that is bigger than all of us. We could probably last easily through a Dalek invasion or having our loved ones being converted into Cybermen, but this is tough. It's a real challenge. And the challenge for us right now is we could either give up and just say, okay, we're suspending things for 2 months, or we can figure out other ways to do it. And I would rather focus on the other ways to do it because it matters to me. I'm fortunate enough that, I have met all sorts of cool people who are really dear friends, some of whom even managed to give me complimentary coffee cups, not mentioning names. But what we're trying to do is, I can't promise success, but I will promise we're going to put in an honest effort. And we're going to make sure that, at least during these months, we're able to help you still feel connected to the greater Who community. We don't know what's going to happen, but that's kind of the fun. It's like the Tom Baker story, The Invasion of Time. You figure Episode 4, the Vardens have been cleared out, Gallifrey's safe, and oops, it's the Sontarans. It's that kind of surprise, and it's one of the things we want to do. And this isn't just cynical or being like idealistic. I really believe there's an opportunity, and I'll spend whatever time I can to try to make some of this stuff happen. So for you who's watching out there, whether you've been to our meetups before, whether you've been to any of our panels, or whether you're just a concerned bystander, how can you be supportive? What can you do during this time, during this current time? Well, the first thing I would suggest is if you want to support the meetup, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. If you want to become a member of our Patreon community, it starts at $1.50. That helps us pay our bills. It helps us pay our meetup fee. At some point in the next few months, I'm actually going to be planning to transition us to an email platform. That way we can get more people onto a public platform and transition off of Meetup. We also have some domain costs that are coming up that need to be paid. But so that's one way. But I'm going to plead with you to do something else, which is for a lot of people who are hurting, for your fellow Who fans, be kind to each other. Support each other. If you know someone who's affected by a bar or restaurant closing, be there for them. Reach out. Send a Facebook message, make a phone call, send an email, do a Skype video thing, but let them know they matter to you. Take care of them. And be open to letting other people take care of you. And that's the other point I want to make is right now, there's a bigger push towards self-care. So I'm going to ask each of you to take care of yourselves. If you're not, you're going to stay home anyway, but if you're feeling sick, take care of yourself. Stay hydrated. Do what you need to do to relax, and most importantly, get plenty of sleep. I'm going to direct this to, because I can tell you, I'm one of those people that I usually would keep altar boy hours, okay? I've been up at 1:30. What the heck are you thinking? But take care of yourselves and take care of each other, because Doctor Who fans are really special people. Even at their most annoying and most bothersome, we matter. We're compassionate. We're lovely. And I'd like to kind of end with I'm reminded of a moment in Day of the Doctor. It's when the War Doctor, the 10th Doctor, and the 11th Doctor are all telling Gallifrey, hey, look, we're going to stick you in a pocket universe. And the bald general says, oh, we don't have anything. And Matt Smith says, but you will have hope. And right now, that's the one thing you don't have. And that's what I'm hoping to do in the next few months with members of the meetup. We want to be open. My goal is to reach as many people in the city of Chicago who don't have access to events like Chicago TARDIS. And right now, it's probably more important than ever that we remind ourselves of our common humanity. And I'd like to finish with just a thought. Fear does not make companions of us all, but hope, empathy, humility, and compassion do. And they not only make companions of us all, but they also help us build community. And right now, that's what we need. And I look forward to seeing how the next few months pan out. I want to thank you very much for watching and for listening. And you can always reach out via Facebook or Twitter if you have questions for us. And hopefully I will talk to you soon. This has been Gordon with Chicago Doctor Who Meetup. Enjoying my tea, and see you next time. Talk to you later.